want to do about something.
Good morning. Welcome to Much Ado About Something. I'm glad you're here. If you're new, you're welcome. I have a channel about lifestyle, budget-friendly, home and garden. And this is garden season, so you'll see a little more garden videos at this time of the year than normal. I'm in here in the kitchen this morning. I'm making a little bit of tea. I've had a little bit of stomach problems this morning, so I'm just going to cut up a little bit of this ginger and put it right into my tea. Just a few slices of it's all I'll need. And I'm also going to have this organic ginger peach and black tea. I love black tea in the morning, and I'm going to make a good hot cup of tea, and then we'll go outside. I've got a few things I want to show you out in the garden. I'm excited to show you. If you've been hanging around with me and you've took the tours of my garden, you know there's a few things out there that I've been waiting to bloom, and I finally got a bloom on something that I'm going to share with you today. But I'm going to make up this little bit of tea here. Before I do that, I'm just going to make a good cup of tea, and I'm going to let this sit out here and kind of steep a little bit while I'm doing what I need to do out here in the garden while I'm showing you a few things. We're going to head on out here. They're going to feed the squirrels. They've got a little bag of squirrel food. They like to put out a little bit of food out for the squirrels. Dave,
What?
tell them what was in Grammy's garden.
It was a possum.
It was a little white possum out here in Grammy's garden.
It was this big, and I think this wide.
Yep, it sure was. Well, it's rained. It's been a lot of rain out here for about 4 days. And everything, the bird baths are full. Everything is lush and green and has plenty of water, and that's a good thing. You can see there's been tremendous growth on many of the plants that I showed you the last time we took a tour of the garden. There's been a lot of growth out here.
Oh, you gave the squirrel an M&M?
But this one particular thing out here I really wanted to show you. And I've shared with you how a friend of mine gave me this passion flower, and I put it over here. It's growing up in the tree. Me and Donald are going to trim these trees, so we'll trim that down when we do. And I just stuck that little piece of passion flower out here, and I have got a whole lot of passion flower. But here is what I wanted to share with you. This is the first time this passion flower has bloomed. You can see some little buds right there, and look. After 3 years of this being in the garden, there we go. We've got this beautiful passion flower finally blooming. There's quite a bit of blooms right up there on this, and I am so excited about it. And of course, we've got some red raspberries coming out here. You know, we're hardly ever getting any raspberries because the birds try to beat us to them, but there's plenty of red raspberries out here, and I do use those red raspberry tea leaves. I use the raspberry plant leaves in tea. But there are quite a bit of these new passion flower blooms. This is a different passion flower than the one that I usually grow out here in the front. So now I have 2 different passion flowers. I don't quite know the name of this one. You know, a friend just shared it with me. I'll have to do more research on it, and you can see there the beautiful leaves that's on this. And I wanted to be sure and show it to you because it hadn't bloomed. I've had it for 3 years, and I hadn't had a bloom on this passion flower. So I'm really happy to see a bloom on it this morning, and to see this whole little trail of blooms that's coming along here. Now this is in a semi-shaded area of the garden here, so it doesn't get a lot of sun. I can always, move this around if I need to. This was kind of just a holding place that I put here for this passion flower until I could figure out where I wanted to put it. So it took 3 years for me to wait for this passion flower to bloom. And there are quite a few blooms left on here that are going to open up, and I'll try to share them with you when they do. Now, you know there's 550 species, over 550 species of the passion flower plant. I've shared with you in the past how my husband and I foraged the passion flower that we have in our garden and that we use every year. This is the Passiflora incarnata. This is the most common passion flower in our area. It has a huge purple bloom on it. I will share that with you when it blooms. I have some of these out here that I'll be transferring out of my garden into the back. I want to start a stand of these Passiflora incarnata in the back. You can see right here, I've got a stand right here that I planted, and it grows up this bed. It will cover this whole little bed right here. They are very prolific. They're not invasive, but they are very prolific. So I've got one here that also grows up. And I am most known using the Passiflora incarnata, this purple passion flower here in my garden. I'm most known for making tea and also for making jelly. I make a passion flower jelly out of the fruit from these passion flowers. I'm outside, so you can hear some, you're gonna hear some neighbors and some car noise, some traffic. But I was sharing with you the Passiflora incarnata. It has a fruit on it, and I've shared with you how I collect that. I think I did that last year. And this fruit, I'll use it to make jelly. And there's other things that I'll make with it. I'll make tea. You know, I'll just dry that pulp and make a juice, just make a drink. And the Native Americans that were here, actually, the passion flower, there are, this one especially, there are different species of Passiflora in our here in North America. They're native to North America. They're native to our area, and that is actually how Donald and I have this in our garden. I put this on my list of things that I wanted to add to my garden because of the memories I have of this particular plant growing up. The Passiflora incarnata was what we used when we were growing up. We would just wait until they turned kind of a yellow, the fruits on them, in the summer, and we would open them up and we would eat the centers, and I have really good memories of that. And then when I grew up and added this to my garden, I harvest the fruits. I make a jelly out of this. It makes a wonderful gift. It's a delicious and unusual jelly. And so it's been a great addition to my garden. I also use this to make tea. This is a great tea. It has calming effects, and it's just a good tea if you want to settle down, and you can also research that. Needless to say, when my friend shared her Passiflora, and I'm not sure what kind this is. It hasn't bloomed, so I had no idea what the bloom looked like. But this is a different species. There's pollen on it right now. You can see all that heavy pollen that's planted right here under pine trees. This is actually growing down a pine tree. It needs its own trellis. But I had it here in kind of a nursery-like holding location so that I could determine what I wanted to do with it. Its growing habits, so I know where to put it in my garden. And needless to say, it is beautiful. I love the leaves, the vining nature of it, the tendrils. It's truly a beautiful plant. Now, I've had this plant here, and it's grown here in its little area for the last 3 years, and I had no idea what kind of bloom it would have. So you can imagine my excitement when I came out here and I saw these blooms and I saw them opened up. Now, they're closed up a little bit this morning because it's a rainy day, but when the sun was out full, these things were opened up fully, and they were absolutely beautiful. There's some tiny little pine cones in there. But I was so tickled. I was so happy to see this bloom, so excited. There's plenty of blooms left here that'll be opening up soon, and I'll be able to enjoy them and also to identify this plant. Now this plant came to me from a friend, and it was in a little solo cup. It was just in a little cup. So, you know, I had no idea what kind of passion flower this is, but I have a few ideas from doing my research, but I'm going to wait and see what its habit is before I pin it down. I am thoroughly enjoying this bloom in this garden today. Very excited to have this in the garden. I have got a few pieces of it. You can see it's just coming on over here because that's the nature of this vine. It will grow, and it is hardy. So I have to decide. I'm sure I'll leave a piece over here, but I'll have to decide what I'm going to do with this in the backyard to give it more space and a trellis of its own so that I can see what kind of fruit this has. By this blooming, I'll be able to see if it has fruit this year, and I can determine what I'm going to do with it. So I'm so excited to share that with you. If you've been on any of my garden videos and I've shared this vine with you and I've talked about how I can't wait to see it bloom, then you'll be enjoying the thrill and the excitement of seeing it bloom with me today. Also, there are some raspberries, plenty of little raspberries. I don't know how many of these raspberries we will get in this garden because I've shared with you before the birds love to chow down on my raspberries before I get to them. But that's okay because I keep growing them because I have great use and need of the leaves of the raspberry right here. I'll pick these tender leaves, and those will be delicious tea. They'll add to my tea. And there's quite a few of the raspberry brambles. Right here's one that's just growing right over the potting table. So if this little thing continues to grow and these raspberries ripen, I may get a few out of these. Now I have not been able to get out here and plant my seeds, the flower seeds that I wanted to plant in this area, because as I have shared with you, it has rained for the last 4 days, and that means that I'm very limited. I mean, it really poured yesterday, so there was no getting out here and working in the garden yesterday. Everything is looking rich, and there are some things that need to be thinned out. The elderberries here need to be thinned out. There's plenty of new growth right here that needs to be potted up and given to a friend or grown elsewhere because there's a prolific amount of the elderberry in here. The clematis still looks beautiful, and I have not gotten to my potted plants. I so want to go ahead and clean these pots out and put something beautiful and blooming in here. And here are those. I got them for Mother's Day. My husband took me and said, pick you out some beautiful flowers for Mother's Day. And I said, hey, I'd rather have the kind with roots so I can put them in my pots. So I'll be doing that. Here are the beautiful flowers that I got, just a few little trays. And of course, I still have not planted what I got to go in the hanging baskets. Now I want to plant this hanging basket, but you can see this is leaning. It's leaning over, and he was going to get out here and straighten that up for me before I planted the hanging baskets. So there is a lot going on out here. Look at that beautiful lacy elderberry. Look at the bright greenness of it. That adds beauty and adds just light. It really lightens up this garden. In this whole garden of really mostly dark variations of dark green and even some purples, dark colors. That lacy elderberry is just like having a light turned on there, isn't it? And I love that. I really do. I enjoy that. We've got some little Rudbeckia here. It's blooming. We got a little bloom. Lots of other blooms will be here in the future. I'll be digging up some of this Passiflora incarnata, this passion flower vine, and moving it to the back. I've been planning that for several years. There's been one thing or another that's happened, and I haven't been able to do that, but I still do have plans to do that. Here we go. We got plenty of purple coneflower, and there it is. There's the echinacea. If you're familiar, you know I grow echinacea as part of my medicinal apothecary. I love the echinacea plant. I even have a story from the very beginning when I first started growing echinacea, how I I made a concoction of entirely too strong, and it peeled the lining off the inside of my mouth. But that's also in my videos if you're interested in that. But it's doing wonderful here. It has just blooms all over it. And there's one that's blooming down there in the middle. I think that's beautiful. I'm very excited about it. I love it. Love to see all of the herbs come back. Here is the Queen Anne's lace. And I've also shared that story, how I came about having Queen Anne's lace in my garden. This is my absolute favorite wildflower. I cannot wait to see them bloom. My husband said they are blooming all the way down to South Carolina. He gets to see them. This is a beautiful orange pleurisy root. That's what we call it, pleurisy root. I think it's also a milkweed of a type, and my husband absolutely loves this one. This is one of his favorite flowers. This is a root that he dug up when we were foraging, and it has done well in this spot. We have added it in other places in the garden, but it seems like this spot is his favorite place to grow, this pleurisy root. Here's the little side view of the garden. You can see all of the rain has just really helped it, and I'm so thankful for all of the rain, because these new bushes right here need plenty of rain, need plenty of water to get established. And these are my tea bushes. And I've shared with you the excitement I've had of adding them to my garden this year. I have 2 of them right here. And I wanted to plant them here in this middle garden because I have a camellia over here. And this camellia, I'm not even sure the name of it, because a friend gave me this camellia also in a tiny cup. It was a tiny little plant when she gave it to me, and this thing has thrived right here. It has absolutely loved where we put it. And because these tea plants are Camellia sinensis, they are a type of tea that is wonderful. This is the original tea. This is the tea. Of course, there's varieties of the Camellia sinensis. There's different varieties of these tea bushes, but this is where original tea comes from. All of the different kinds of tea. And I'll have to share with you my tea book that I ordered and got along with these 2 tea bushes. Now, I did have new growth here. Right here are the little new growths. You can tip these, you can harvest these and use these in making your own tea. I did not harvest tea this year. I wanted to let these 2 bushes get established before I went picking on them. So I didn't harvest tea this year, but I do plan on harvesting and making my own tea, and that excites me in a way I cannot even express to you the ability, because you know I'm a tea drinker. If you watch this show, I love tea. If you watch my videos and watch my channel, then you know tea is something I have on a regular basis. So it excites me to be able to make my own teas and to find out that they grow so well in the area that I live in. And of course, I added this bay leaf tree to my garden this year. I have not planted this in the ground. It is still in the pot that I bought it in. But I wanted to share with y'all the new growth. Sorry, I got my little raspberry leaves I'm going to take in with me. Look at the new growth that has came on this bay tree. It is a good, I want to say 5 or 6 inches of new growth that has come on this bay tree right here. Since I just set it out here, I set it out here to catch the rain, because it seems like no matter how much I water, the rain has the nutrients that these plants need, and I always try to set them out and catch the rainwater when I can. So it's still in its original pot. I did want to plant it in the ground, but I'm having some second thoughts, because it seems like a lot of people have to bring these in the winter or really keep them covered up, and I'm not sure if I have the place to put the bay tree, or that I'm willing to let it die. I'm not willing to risk it. I don't want to set it out and maybe lose my little bay tree. So I'm being very careful about whether or not I set that tree out. I'm thinking about it. I may just carry that thing in and out every year until it gets so big that I'm not able to do that. I'll keep you updated on what I decide to do with that bay tree. But that is the tree that you would harvest leaves off of and put in your soups and stews. And that's another thing I love. I love soups and stews, and I love bay leaves. I love to use that in my seasoning. That's one of my favorite herbs. So I have that. Very excited about that. Now these are the things that I bought to go in the garden, and it's been raining so much that I have not been able to get anything in the ground. I have just been in the house for the last 4 days. And here are those herbs that I bought. Here's that little strawberry mint. And here are the marigolds. You can see they've already lost some of their blooms. I'll just toss them right under there because they are good for keeping other bugs away. You can see my tomatoes are looking great. They are a good size. These are the ones that I bought from the nursery. Now I'm going to pinch off these blooms because these are still in starter pots and we don't need them to be trying to put out fruit. Now when we get ready to plant these, Donald and I will pick off these orange leaves down here at the bottom, and we will plant them up high enough so that plenty of roots will develop on these tomatoes when we put them out in our garden. I'll need to carry these back there so that I can go ahead and plan where I'm going to put what, and so I'll be doing that within the next day or two. That's beautiful petunias. They were beautiful when I bought them. We've got one left there, but they will bloom again. They will bloom all summer. And there are things that need to be added, but you can't do that when it's raining, so I haven't done that. Now there are things just starting to grow and pop out here in this garden. Now the heirloom roses, the climbers there, the Jackson and Perkins roses that we bought years and years ago, they're about finished. There are some beautiful new blooms up in the top that are bright looking, but it looks like leaves are starting to fall, and it looks like these are nearing the end stage of their bloom season. And that's okay, because we'll just move right on and wait for the next thing that starts blooming. I did not get to trellis this rose bush up yet because of the weather, but it's been wonderful to see this thing bloom this year. I am glad it's blooming. Now I'll be harvesting some of this lemon balm. We're in the neighborhood, and this is the kind of noises that I get at this time of the day. It's later in the day than I'm usually out here. I try to get out here in the morning so you don't hear all of that. But that's what it's like in the neighborhood. Well, I have lemon balm right here. I'm going to harvest a handful of this, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this lemon balm. I had a whole lot rather have a lot of rain and everything be lush and beautiful than not have enough and everything be dried up. So I am thankful for the rain, and look at these mullein. My goodness, these things have really taken off. I think this one might bloom this year. I'm not sure if this one will or not. We'll just have to wait and see, and I'm excited to see them grow as much as they have and bloom in the garden. If you've watched my videos, then you also know that that's a herb I keep in my medicinal apothecary cabinet. Here's oregano. I really need to harvest some of that oregano and dry it because that is great in lasagna, spaghetti, and any dish that you use a tomato with. So I may harvest some of that later. But everything has just really, really grown. And I'm still going to have to show you that same clematis that I've been showing you because it is just showing off. It is spectacular. It is doing everything it can just to show off over here. And I am hoping that I'm giving this beautiful clematis due justice. I'm telling you, you really cannot see this clematis from the road. It is back here tucked behind this little maple tree that Donald's got that he loves. He loves this little maple. He was able to dig up a baby from where he worked. He was able to dig up a little baby and bring it here, and that tree is beautiful. He just enjoys it and loves it. It's one of his favorite things in the landscape. But you can barely see the clematis. It's hidden behind this maple tree. And here it is. When you walk back here, it's almost like a secret garden. My goodness, look at this. What a joy. How pretty. I am enjoying it as long as it wants to bloom. I am going to come back here and show it to you. I'll showcase it and let you see it. And we'll just enjoy it together. That thing is just loaded with blooms. Nothing special added, no extra fertilizer or anything. this area really needs a lot of work. You can see there's a little bit of lemon balm that's popped out over here. Didn't plant this, it just decided it wanted to grow here. I may leave that or I may not. But I am enjoying this beautiful, beautiful clematis today. I will walk back here and get pictures of it and enjoy it because it's just sprawling. And of course on the other side, it's just as pretty. Such a beautiful, beautiful vine. Worth adding to your garden. A key secret to clematis is keep the roots cool. Wherever you got the roots, add some mulch, keep them cool, and let the beautiful flowers and vine stay warm in the sun. So keep the roots cool and keep your flowers and your vine in the sun, and that's a secret to beautiful clematis. I still want to spread the beautiful comfrey. Oh my goodness, the catnip just took off. It's grown at least 1.5 feet. I have to say, it really has. I am excited. Now I've got my new things. I still yet have to get out here and add to this perennial herb garden. Sorry about that light. It's taking a minute to adjust out here. It's like everything's truly too bright. We've got this oregano, and I need to come and harvest some of this oregano because it's just so good. So good to come out and get your fresh herbs out of your garden. The sage is still pretty. It has bloomed pretty. I've enjoyed that. I wanted to get out here and just share with you that beautiful passiflora, that beautiful passion vine that finally bloomed. I could not include you in that today. And I also wanted to just show you what I had out here, what's going on with all this 4 days of rain that we've had. So that, see if you were as amazed by it as I am. Now I'm going to have to get my shears, my little cutters out here and clip up some things. I don't know why the light is so bright. It looked washed out. I apologize for that. But I have got out here and I had to get out here and just see how much, what the rain, the effects that it's had on everything. It's starting to rain again. I feel a few raindrops on my face. So I'm not going to be able to stay out here. But I did want to get some of this. These are the elderberries. They're starting to turn white. The blooms. You can see them up there, how beautiful they are. And if I get under them, then you can see, we can't see the tops, but we can see how beautiful and how many there are this year. I'm going to pull some of this lemon balm so I can take it in, and I'll show you what I do with that. I needed to bring my little herbal basket that I have to harvest in. I needed to bring a basket, but sometimes I get so excited I can't remember to think of everything. I just clip off just pick off a few stems of fresh lemon balm. This is a herb I use a lot. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it, especially in the summer. I'll make a good cold infusion out of this, and I'll drink this lemon balm a lot. Now I've got this little picture that I've got. I got this as a gift. I think it's beautiful. And what I do with this is, it has this little infuser. Now, it doesn't have to be hot. Sometimes I'll take the tea kettle here and heat it up and make a hot infusion and then let it cool down and then put it in this to drink for a cold drink. But as you can see right here, I've got the lemon balm that I harvested from my garden. I'm going to take a scissor And I'm just going to cut some of these lemon balm leaves to expose some of the surfaces and all the things that's in lemon balm into this little infuser. I'm not going to use hot water in this when I put water in this because it's plastic and I don't want to melt this, or I don't even want anything that comes out of plastic when you heat it up in my tea or my drink that I'm making right here. I guess it's just kind of a more of a lemonade made with lemon balm. Makes a delicious drink. This lemon balm is in the mint family. So you can see out in my garden, I've shared with you how prolific it is out there and how it can spread, and it will be in other gardens. So that's something to keep in mind, to keep up with if you don't want a lot of lemon balm. But I don't mind a lot of lemon balm because I drink a lot of it, so it's perfectly okay if I have plenty in the garden. Now I'm just filling this up enough for me to have a drink during the day here. This little infusion cylinder just screws onto the bottom of this lid. Now I'm just going to add tap water into my my pitcher here. Now you can add ice if you want. If that's something that you want to add, you can certainly add ice. I've got to clean out the sink. I have a lot to do. I have a lot going on here at this time of the year, and I hear that from so many people. It's a busy, busy time of the year, isn't it? But I like to kind of have it kind of full. Quite a bit of water in here. See if there's a certain way this thing goes. I don't think that it is. And see, you can see the lemon balm is just diffusing in there. And I'm going to leave that in there for a little bit today. I'm just going to leave that lemon balm in that little cylinder and just let it diffuse in this water. And I'll come and enjoy a glass of this probably with lunch, or maybe later today. I'll enjoy a glass of this lemon balm with this water with the lemon balm infused in it. So that's what I'm doing with this. There's no heat involved, so it won't be quite like a cup of tea, but it'll be mildly flavored and very refreshing. Of course, a cup of hot tea would bring out much more of the properties that are in lemon balm and would be a whole different kind of drink. This will just be a mild, enjoyable drink. I've got a few sprigs of oregano. How wealthy are we to live in a country where we can grow our own herbs and enjoy them. We can grow our own herbs and make and use them. You know, if you were born 200 years ago or 150 years ago, these spices would be really hard to get. You would have to wait for a shipment of them to come from overseas somewhere before you would even have a chance to get herbs, and they would be expensive. So this is a simple thing that you can enjoy today and know that it's a blessing, and know that, you know, it's a wonderful thing to have all these herbs and be able to use them the way you want to use them this day and age. All we'd have to do if we need herbs is to grow them ourselves, have them out in our garden, order them from some shopping app or whatever we need to do. That's how easy it is for us to get herbs today. So I am thankful today for these simple herbs, and I'll be enjoying a glass of this good, refreshing water here before we know it. Well, that winds it up for today. Thank you for joining me today. And like always, until next time.